Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Ogbanje Joseph. Please subscribe to this channel, share, like, as well as drop a comment on the comment section. So, our lecture today is looking at the features of educational planning in Nigeria. The features of educational planning in Nigeria. Now, as an individual, you have your feature or characteristics which are known to you, your wife, your children, your colleagues in the office, and even your family members. If as an individual, we have our respective attributes, educational planning too has its attributes, which we are examining shortly. Now, what are the features of educational planning? Number one, it must be based on defined and stated objectives. Now, statement of objectives is a strong prerequisite, to the success of any educational enterprise or endeavor. For example, an objective might be production of 100 engineers at the end of an academic year by Nigerian universities. Another might be providing access to 1 million secondary school entrants who will actually be imputed into the universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education at the end of each school academic session. However, there is need to ensure that educational plan must be based on well-defined and stated objective, which will prevent derailment of purpose. Number two, the plan must be flexible to allow development to take place. You need to remember that what is permanent is actually change. Educational plans must be flexible enough to give room for changes in terms of additions, subtractions, and even modifications. If you remember very well that as students in the primary and secondary schools in the 1960s, 70s, and even 80s, there was nothing like ICT, that is information and communication technology. But in the 21st century, the household name is ICT, which has made the whole world to become a global village. The advent of ICT is new in our education system, and you should know that for us as a nation not to be left behind the development around the world, we have to accommodate the emerging changes, and adapt them to our situation. Remember, therefore, that any educational plan must give room for flexibility in order to allow for development to take place. Number three, educational plan must be timely and reasonable. As much as there are different decades denoted by one thing or the other, as usually done by the United Nations, a country's educational plan needs to fall in line with such declared decades. For example, there were decades of sustainable development, decades of education for all, decade for health for all, water for all, environment and global warming. These are timely targets and programs declared by the United Nations. The expectation is that all countries of the world will work towards the realization of such stated targets. Nigerian educational plan must be such that will fit into these United Nations decade declarations, which is timely, reasonable, and human development focused. Number four, educational development plan must be based on available facts and premises and not on ordinary opinion. At this juncture, the place of conduct of census every 10 years cannot be overemphasized. If it is conducted, there are available facts and figures that will serve as a guide to educational plans and policy makers. Okay? Serve as what? As like I said, there will be available facts and figures that will serve as a guide to educational planners and policy makers. The availability of up-to-date statistics goes a long way in helping a nation to put up statistics backed up plan, and not educational plan that is based on rule of thumb or ordinary guesses. So as students, remember that in order to have an acceptable plan devoid of suspicion or guesses, there should be adequate statistics to back up any plan that is being worked out by the government. In fact, statistically backed up plans will not give room for wastages or overshooting of figures. Rather, there will be adequate and exact plan preparation for the beneficiaries of such plans. Number 5, educational plan must be communicated in clear language or instructions. Communication is powerful and takes place between at least 2 persons. It must be noted that whatever plans that is being put together is to work for some specific individuals. In as much as it is recognized that plans are meant for some people, such educational plan must be communicated in clear languages so that the intent of such plan will be made clear to the beneficiaries without any suspicion from anybody. Educational plan, that is number 6. It must be attainable and feasible. The purpose of conducting census exercises is to create a data bank from which needed statistics about the country's development targets can be generated. Once the data are readily available, the educational plan can be determined to be for specified number of people, and therefore will not be outrageous or non-attainable. Furthermore, as a result of the available statistics, it will be easy for such plans to be feasibly carried out without recourse to rule of thumb. Number 7, educational plan must be simple in all dimensions. Educational plan has to be simple in all dimensions in terms of its content, such as the introduction, body and conclusion, and even the objectives. The simplicity is essential because it might be another person that will execute such written educational plan. If, however, the originally written document is complex to the extent that it is not easily understood, its implementation might not be thorough as it should be. Number 8, which is the last feature of educational plan, is that it must be economical. All plans, whether educational, health, economic, infrastructural, must not be costly when it comes to its implementation. Resources are scarce. Implementation of educational plan must not be expensive such that it will gulp so much money during the implementation. There must not be room for extravagant spending. Okay, so these are the features of educational plan. All plans that is targeted towards uplifting the educational sector in a country has to have all of these features I talked about. Thank you very much.